Hello trail travelers, this is Carrie with Trail Traveler, and today we are going to hit Saxon Mountain. It is just outside of Georgetown, Colorado, and we're starting off on basically a paved road outside of Georgetown, and then it is supposed to become worse. But should be some interesting sights along the way, and this is a pretty decent climb, right? We're gonna, how high are we gonna end up going?
To 11,463 feet.
11,463?
Yes. And it will be 3,500.
Okay. So from this point right here, it's 6.5 miles to the summit. Well, and it looks like we're losing pavement. So first chance I get, we're still in kind of a residential area. So as soon as I get a chance to kind of get out of this, that's when I'm going to air down and, be off this pavement. I don't want to really air down while I'm on pavement. There's some vehicle traffic here, so I don't want to be blocking any traffic if at all possible. Okay, so left to Silver Creek Trail or right to Saxon Mountain. Oh, wow. Okay, so we're going to air down right here because it starts right off with some pretty rocky terrain. So it definitely looks like things are going to start right off with some pretty rocky terrain. So I aired down to 16 psi, see how that's going to go. A little lower might be called for if it gets super rocky, but here it says primitive road, 4x4 high clearance vehicles only. Recovery is difficult and expensive. That's a good thing to note. No road maintenance, proceed at your own risk. So some little scary signs there. Now, a few years ago, there was a rock slide that covered a section of trail, and that was a really difficult spot to go over. You'd be at a very high roll angle, looking straight down a shelf road down all the way to Georgetown. It was not something you wanted to roll on, as you probably wouldn't stop till you hit I-70. So it was a little gnarly, but we're going to see how this is. Oh, we already got someone coming down. Let me get away from this tree here. Oh, I had a little dirt bike on the back of his Jeep. So this is rated by All Trails as hard, and as we've seen, hard is relative sometimes, so we'll just have to see how it goes. But you'll definitely get my opinion when it's all over. Well, we're coming up on a mile into the trail here, and it is certainly a very rough road. I'm actually considering airing down my tires a little bit more. I went down to 16. I may go down to 12 or even lower, just because it is a very, very rough ride. So here we are at the gate. The trail is not open all year because of snow. You definitely do not want to come up here when there's a lot of snow, because it could be really treacherous. But this trail, in terms of rockiness, is pretty bad. It's a rough ride. And what this trail is really known for is the number of switchbacks. There are 23 switchbacks going up this hill. So you're doing a lot of turns. Now, I've only been through 2 of them, and they were way, way big enough that I could just make the turn. Like, here's another one. Oh, what a view. And we're climbing really fast, and the view is really spectacular from up here. And it's a gorgeous day. even though we still have the fires going, we don't have hardly any smoke here today. So very nice. Nice blue skies, clear. It's really windy today, and it's probably going to be super windy at the top. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of switchbacks on here, and if you can see, this is a pretty steep cliff shelf road. If you don't like shelf roads, it may not be a good trail for you, but as long as that doesn't bother you too much, then this is fine. It's plenty wide enough. There's even plenty of room, plenty of spaces along here for passing. So far I'm not too concerned. You stay in the middle of the road and you have a good 5-6 feet on either side of you. So I'm not rubbing up against the hill, nor am I rubbing against all the trees and stuff and getting scratches. And then when you get to these turnouts, or these switchbacks, I mean, there's plenty of room to make big wide turns, and they're good spots for passing or for letting someone coming the other direction go by. So still, I would call this an easy trail because there's no major obstacles or anything. It's a little sketchy because of the shelf road, but it's plenty wide. So far, this is still an easy trail. But since All Trail says it's difficult, we'll see. I mean, here's a full-size pickup, you know. I don't know how much further he's planning on going. Oh, it looks like they've been camping there. Good spot. Beautiful dog. Looks like he's fixing some breakfast. Maybe we should have stopped. All right, well, back to driving. At about 1.5 miles, you're gonna come across this fork in the road. If you stay to the right, it's gonna be the easier section of the trail, basically a bypass. If we go to the left, it's gonna be steeper, rockier, and a little more challenging. So let's go to the left. So we'll see how this is. We'll drop into manual 1. We're already in 4 low. We've got the sway bars disconnected, and we'll see how this is. I mean, it's not too bad. It definitely takes it out of the easy category for sure, but really nothing more than, you know, kind of a moderate there. And then we've got a couple big rocks to climb here at the end. I'll just take kind of an easier path around them. We just wanted to see what this harder line is like. No scraping or anything, not too bad, but you want it just a little bit extra challenge, go to the left instead of the right. And back onto the trail. Well, if you wonder where the Rocky Mountains gets its name, it's got to be from trails like this, because this is just rocky, 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 rocky. There's rock slides all over the sides. It is definitely one of the rockier trails that we've been on. But a little background on this road and Mount Saxon itself. So sometime around the late 60s, early 70s or so, this road was built to make it possible to build an aerial tramway from Georgetown to the top of the mountain, because it's like the highest peak in this area. Well, the tramway, for whatever reason, was never built, and the road pretty much abandoned, and it is what it is today. Now, Mount Saxon, because of its height and location here, is used by different services. There's a bunch of antennas on the top for cell towers and radio transmission equipment. So it does serve a purpose. And now this generally isn't the way that the service workers go to get to it. There's a much easier way on the backside through Cascade Creek. And I'll do a video on that here one of these days, because it's still a fun trail and it's right through all the pine trees, and it's still rated hard, but I've been on it. It wasn't hard at all, but it's a really beautiful trail just because of the area that you're in. So we may do that trail fairly soon. But you see, this is just crazy rock slide area through here, and sometimes it'll happen and they won't clear it for years just because of the cost and difficulty in getting up here. But the views are fantastic. I'm looking straight down on I-70 below me, and it's a long way down already. We're just climbing really, really fast. The average grade going up here is like 12.4 degrees. That's the average. The steepest grade point is 14%. So you do get going up really quickly. Here's another Y in the road here. It's fairly obvious to go to the right because the sign says go to the right. And if you look to the left, you can't probably see it on the Osmo Action, but the road is actually blocked off from going that direction. So we're just going to continue our upward climb here. Unfortunately, we've kind of missed peak aspen season in here by about a week or two. The leaves are falling, but with all the yellow leaves on the ground, it's actually kind of pretty still. And this is, we're doing this trail, what's October 11th. So late, or getting to be late fall here in Colorado. There's at about 2.8 miles, you'll see another sign that says to go to the right. There is what looks like a little trail off to the left, but it looks like it's more of just a little camping area that goes back there a little bit, not very far. We're not going to go explore it. We're going to stick to the trail today and see how things look. But we're still just very, very rocky. Only that little obstacle back there, which not a big deal at all. I probably took it a little higher than I needed to, just for a little extra fun. We're now at 9,815 feet, so we're now above the aspen tree line, and it's just these beautiful green pine trees, and they're very, very green up here. We got a heavy wind, so we're not really smelling the pine trees today. We're smelling a lot of dust because it is blowing a lot of dust around up here today. Well, at 3.3 miles, we are just at 10,000 feet above sea level, and the first switchback where I kind of had to do a 3-point turn. And look at these rocks. These things are crazy. Look at a big boulder right there on the left side. So I'm gonna have to squeeze through here, or maybe climb up on the one on the right. Just have to see how much clearance.
Do you want to spot?
That is pretty narrow. I'm gonna...
You're good on the right. You're good on the right.
It's making me feel really good that I've got high rock sliders right now. All right, so definitely enough room for a Jeep JL to get through there. But these rocks and boulders definitely got a little bigger real quick. And to get around this one, you're getting really close to this edge.
You're good here.
So again, if you don't like riding right on the edges of shelf roads, you might want to take a second guess at this trail, because we're pretty darn high. Like I said, we're over 10,000 feet above sea level. And how high have we climbed from?
It's already 1,500 we gained.
So we're over 1,500 feet above our starting point, which was still, you know, over like 7,000 feet above sea level or so. I mean, higher than that. 8,500 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
So we started pretty high, and we're climbing pretty quick. As I mentioned before, the freeway down there, the cars are looking pretty small. Every couple switchbacks, they look smaller and smaller, because we are climbing real quick up through here. Well, now we're 4.2 miles into the trail. You've seen we've got a couple little obstacles. There's the one spot that had those old cabins. Good place to stop, explore, rest your legs, take the dogs for a walk, have your lunch break, you know, whatever you want to do. It's a nice little, very shaded place to kind of take a break for a moment. But you can just see how crazy the landslides have been here before. I mean, this has obviously had to have been cleared multiple times throughout the many years. I'm gonna aim towards the side of the road here, see if you can see down. But this view is just crazy. And look up above to the right. A big old rock sitting there. This is definitely some interesting terrain. Look at this tree over here. I mean, it's just twisted and twisted and twisted.
I see the I-70 over there.
Now we're looking down on I-70.
They look straight where you're driving. Alright, that's interesting. With that rock, you see?
Yeah.
Somebody hit that rock.
I'm sure a
Already.
lot of people have hit that rock. You can see some scars on it. I don't want to be the next one to leave a scar on it. So I'm just going to go really slow so I don't get my suspension swaying. I'm plenty clear, but if you go through something like that too fast, your body can sway and end up throwing you into it. So you want to be really careful whenever you're in a super tight spot that you just go extra slow. But this view here is just nuts.
Maybe stop for a second and take a shot from to the down.
Yeah, I've definitely got to get a shot from up here. We are 5.9 miles into the trail and we just hit 11,000 feet above sea level. The views have been fantastic. We are just in this thick pine tree area. We have to go up a little higher, like it's around 12,000 feet before you get above the pine tree line. So as long as you're in this 12,000 feet, you're going to be in pine tree territory. But like if you see on Argentine Pass, you go above that, it's just tundra. There's no trees that grow at that 13,000 foot level. But here at 11, it is just lush, super green pine trees. We've been on a lot of trails this summer, and I think these are the greenest pine trees I have seen all year.
Yeah.
Would you think so?
I agree with you.
There's something.
They're not so dusty.
What's that?
They're not so dusty even.
Right, they're not dusty, and they're thick, and they're just super green. It's really strange how they just are so different than other places. Okay, so here we've got a Y in the road here. Go left to Lamartine. I'm not quite sure of the pronunciation, Lamartine, or straight to Saxon Mountain. And Lamartine, it just looks like a lot of trails. There's mines down there. I don't know much about that area. So, but our goal today was Saxon Mountain. Oh, Cascade Creek. Okay, I am pretty sure I understand where I am now. So when I look behind me at the trail that said Lamartine, it says Cascade Creek. And that's how I have come up here before. And if you go down Cascade Creek, that's also where you will find the exit to Spring Creek. So a lot of cool trails come together right here. So we may actually take Cascade Creek back just to do something different and not take the same trail. So we'll see how this goes.
If it won't snow.
Yeah, it is. Surprisingly enough, the temperature outside right now is reading 54 degrees, and we have snowflakes. Now, when we left, and actually as we got here, you might remember that there was some pretty blue skies. Right now, there's no blue in the sky. It's all overcast. So it's entirely possible that higher up, we've got some snow, and the snowflakes are making it all the way down here. They're not going to stick on anything. The Jeep is too hot. The road is too warm. I mean, the air temperature is 54 degrees. So we're in no danger of getting stuck in a snowstorm right now. It's just kind of interesting to be outside or even looking out the window here and seeing snowflakes. Kind of strange.
It's Colorado.
And welcome to the weird weather of Colorado. We are now at 11,400 feet above sea level. We have about 1,000 feet of trail left before we're at the end. And I wanted to take a moment and kind of point the camera up the hillside here so you could see how twisted some of these trees are. There's tons of, down trees, lots of stuff that have had to been cut because of the road. But it's a very interesting sight, I think. It's just something different. Now, what I'm not sure if you can see is the amount of snow coming down, because the higher we go, the more snow we're getting. Again, this is not something for us to worry about today. It's not going to make the road slippery or anything, because it's now 50 degrees outside. So it's really not even making it to the ground. And if it hits the Jeep at all, I mean, it's just gone instantly. And the trail is too warm for it to accumulate. But it's just really strange in some of these areas. We get a blast of wind with this big burst of snow that comes through, and it's fairly warm outside. Now, it feels colder than it really is because of the wind, and it is pretty windy today, and we're pretty high, so it's only going to get windier. We may not be able to get out and sit down on the peak to have lunch. We'll probably have to eat in the Jeep just because of the wind. But this is just a really beautiful area, and some of these trees just look so cool. And on the left, we can tell we're kind of peeking out because it's all flat around us. You can see here up to the right side of the Jeep, we're pretty much on the summit here. It's pretty flat. This is the way it is on both sides of us. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera a little bit so we're straighter ahead. Okay, where are we going here? This is pretty much the end of the road. And we're just gonna explore around a little bit. Looks like there's probably an old gate at some point.
There's some building there.
Yeah, that's the radio building.
Oh.
So I'll pull in here. So as I mentioned at the beginning, there is radio equipment up here, cell tower equipment up here, and my buddy John, he helps maintain this equipment, so he's up here all year round. And when it's really snowy up here and thick snow, he has a really cool snowcat he gets to drive up here. So yep, this is the summit of Mount Saxon. It is really windy at the top of Mount Saxon here, but look at the view. Unfortunately, it's getting kind of cloudy down there. I don't know if it's smoke from the fire or just kind of this cloud condition that's coming in that's causing this snow. But normally you can see just for miles and miles and miles around here. But you can see there's places to kind of explore around. Here's some old remnants down here. We'll go around, and here's the picnic table and kind of barbecue area. But again, stage 2 fire ban right now, so no cooking out here. You could if you had a propane stove, but no wood fires. So this has been Mount Saxon, and I'm gonna finish up inside.